Licence, please, driver. Plates are looking pretty shoddy. Could be up for a ticket.
Hey, sleep for room.
Listen, buddy, there's a blitz on. So I suggest you rock on down to Vic Roads in the morning and you get yourself some shiny new plates, because if we catch you clowning around with the old ones... Stop, police!
Just a few cuts, that's all.
Did you get a look at the guy?
What do you think this is? A disguise? I took a swipe at him and he pushed me into the window. Now, aren't you going to ask me for a description?
I don't mean to be rude, but how could you possibly...
I may not be able to see, Constable, but all my other senses are still intact. Now, take this down. The bloke you're after is a kid, a teenager, about 170 centimetres. Wearing a leather jacket and rubber-soled shoes. The getaway car had a hole in the exhaust and bald tyres, as you would know if you'd been a bit quicker on your feet.
He was about 170. He had a
He was at least
build.
175. He was skinny.
He had dark hair that came down.
You couldn't see his hair. He had a hood on.
He was wearing a jacket.
He had a hood on,
Had
boss.
a collar up around his neck.
Sounds like the only reliable witness is a blind man.
This is ridiculous. No hard evidence, no conviction. You're going to have to go the long way round. If this is the same bloke, we're going to have to nail him and his partner before they really hurt someone. God, get on with it.
Could that car you pulled over earlier been the getaway vehicle?
No, it wasn't him.
Right, take out the established MOs, go on a desk, there you go. Get the mugshot books, go through, pick out the most likely, complete your leap forms, take a bit of pizza. Thank you.
Hi, Anna.
Hi, look, can I see Dad?
Yep.
I haven't seen Bridget in 17 years. She moved away when we were still in primary school, remember?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, well, anyway, her mother died recently. She's only been back in town a month or so. And she came over this afternoon. We talked about old times when we were kids. And then she...
She what?
She believes when she was 8, she was sexually abused by her father.
Why have you waited so long to make these allegations?
Oh, I didn't wait. I didn't remember them.
What made you remember?
The town, therapy. I've had a number of sessions with Thea Copeland about my weight, insomnia, you know, bad track record with boyfriends. And slowly the reason became clear. I really wish it would just go away, like it never happened, but it did. It's caused me a lot of pain. And the only way I can think of to stop it is to bring my father to justice.
Peter Matthews is one of the most respected men in this district. I can't imagine him abusing anyone, mentally, physically or sexually. The whole idea is preposterous.
Why, because he's a doctor? Oh, a professional. Well, they're above suspicion, aren't they? Untouchable.
No, of course not. There'll be an investigation. How reliable is Bridget's recollection of an isolated event 17 years ago?
Your hip town mentality's showing, Dad. Just because he's a doctor, you'll think he's infallible.
We do not.
When he probably spends most of his time promoting big pharmaceutical companies, pushing pills like they're jelly beans.
And what happens when Sam's seriously ill? I bet you don't take him to some naturopath. It'll be straight up to the hospital.
Yeah, well, this isn't about Sam. It's about Bridget.
For God's sake, Anna. You haven't seen Bridget since you were kids. Now you're taking everything she says as gospel.
No. No, I'm not. I'm just saying that this community won't challenge the establishment and that there's a danger that they'll just dismiss her as a troublemaker.
By her own admission, she is a disturbed young woman. Her claims have the potential to ruin a man's life.
Oh, and what about her life?
Well, how can someone forget about being abused? What, they just file it away in their memory bank until one day the nightmare just spills out?
No. It's a question of survival, a way of coping for these people so they can get through the rest of their life.
It could also be a barefaced lie, Maggie.
But why would she put herself through all of this?
As a grudge, destroy her father's reputation.
Well, before you confront Peter Matthews with these allegations, let's just verify matters with Bridget's hypnotherapist.
Thea Copeland, she runs a clinic offering a run of therapy and massage.
Toe-sucking, navel-gazing.
Now, don't you criticise if you haven't tried it. People are more aware of natural healing methods now than they ever were.
You never catch me draped in crystals, listening to bloody rainforest music and sniffing incense.
Oh, I don't know, PJ. Might be right up your alley.
You know that shrinks have the highest suicide rate amongst all professionals?
Yeah? Well, the police have got a pretty impressive record too, I'm here to tell you.
Yeah, it's different. We're not genuine stress. The shrinks, they're just plain crazy.
PJ, the only stress you have in your life is deciding what topping you're going to put on your pizza.
Ah, that's important.
Now, Detective, we need this woman's cooperation, so try to keep a lid on it, all right?
Look at this. No toe-sucking. I hate that.
Look, in all my experience, and this isn't the only case that I've ever seen, I have never had someone think that they were abused and later discover that they weren't.
Miss Matthews told us that she originally came to see you about a weight problem.
Compulsive eating is an escape, a form of protection, yeah.
Well, how can being on the large side protect you?
Well, it can't, but Bridget thinks that being big is safe. Look, I have a photograph of her of when she was 8. As you can see, she was quite a petite child.
Yeah, the incident's supposed to have happened around this time.
Did you convince her to report it?
Certainly not. In fact, I reassured her that she didn't have to pursue it in a court of law to validate her feelings.
So, how did she come to recover her memory of the alleged abuse?
Well, she nursed her mother through the final stages. When she finally had time for herself, that's when it happened.
Well, what happened?
Well, snapshots of moments which terrified her, and then she started reliving the horror.
She said that this town helped her remember.
Well, familiarity can do it. The countryside, certain smells, taste, and eventually the picture falls into place.
You sure it's the right picture?
I'm sure that she suffered abuse, and she believes that it was at the hands of her father. I didn't plant the idea in her head, if that's what you're thinking.
Hey, he's close.
Looks nothing like him.
Adam, you should get your eyes checked.
Well, you must have had yours shut, Dash.
This is a joke. We're obviously looking for two different people.
Scabby Henderson said that car had bull tyres and a bad exhaust system and might have a defect notice.
Well, he'd just been thrown through a window. How can he be sure of anything?
Well, I'll check it out if I were you, because it's your best bet, because you two can't agree upon a description.
I'm sure I'd recognise him again.
Oh, get over yourself.
It was dark, you only saw him for a tick. You try and give him a cord.
All right, we'll go through the canary book, and then we'll do the rounds of the likelies.
Pull him in for a lineup.
We don't need a line-up to ID the guy.
Scabby Henderson will.
You want to do a line-up with the blind guy?
Yep.
This is weird. She comes across as a competent professional who genuinely cares about the well-being of her clients.
Yes, well, let's check her qualifications anyway.
There's something funny about that setup. People are going to walk in there and all these sweet smells and sweet music are somehow miraculously going to wipe out their problems.
Now, PJ, what is wrong with creating an ambience? You know, it's easier to confide when you're not stressed out. It's exactly what these people are doing.
The bottom line is, do you think there's a case to answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, you've just finished canning the
Look,
woman,
if
for
talking
God's
to a
sake.
shrink helps sort out your problems, that's fantastic, Mags. That's brilliant. I just hate the packaging.
All right, so you think that Thea Copeland hasn't been manipulating Bridget in any way? There's no ulterior motive?
I think both women are sincere.
All we can do is talk to Matthews and see what response we get.
I can tell you what, if it happened to me, I'd be wanting to confront the person who did it to me.
Yeah, well, no matter what we do, the consequences are going to be devastating.
What about his family?
And his wife's Ellen. They've got 3 kids.
I certainly haven't done this before.
It's not much fun. After you?
Only finished surgery 10 minutes ago, running late as usual. We had a house call in the middle of everything. Raced back here to find a waiting room full of patients. Never stops. Peter? This is Detective Hashem and Constable Maggie Doyle.
Take a seat, would you?
Thank you. Darling, I've just got to pick up the children. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Now, how can I help you?
Well, there's no easy way of saying this, Dr. Matthews.
But we're investigating allegations made by your daughter, Bridget, that you sexually molested her when she was 8.
What?
She claims she recovered a memory after undergoing therapy.
What sort of therapy?
She attended a clinic run by Thea Copeland for weight problems, depression.
This is cruel. Imagine how she must feel. We barely buried her mother.
You're at the funeral?
Oh, yes, of course, we all were. I haven't seen much of my daughter over the years. That's the way Sally wanted it. I couldn't let Bridget face the funeral alone.
Have you had much contact with her since then?
Well, no. In fact, I thought she'd left town. If I'd known she was seeing Copeland, I'd have warned her off.
And, Doctor, you're opposed to this type of treatment, are you?
Look, if a massage and some hypnotherapy can help reduce a migraine, I'm all for it. But some of these patients are literally risking their lives by adopting her ideas.
Well, sir, your daughter certainly believes in this woman.
My daughter is an emotionally vulnerable young woman. Thea Copeland is exploiting that vulnerability to get at me.
Basically, it comes down to one person's word against another's.
Well, without corroboration, it's a case of who's the more believable.
Well, Matthew seems genuine, but then you wouldn't expect him to admit it, would you?
Well, except he doesn't behave like a man with a skeleton in his closet.
Well, how did he behave?
I went on the offensive. He accused Thea Copeland of cashing in on Bridget's fragile emotional state.
Repressed memory just seems like a way of blaming somebody else for the fact that you stuffed up your own life.
Amazing. Only a few hours ago, Thea Copeland had convinced you there was a case to be answered.
Max, she's in the business of winning people's confidence.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me. Things that happen to us when we're children affect the way we behave as adults.
Boss, you could make up any bloody story.
So you're saying that if you don't understand it, then it never happened?
Max, even the experts don't agree on this.
PJ, there are not many women out there who would put themselves through this kind of trauma if they weren't convinced they'd been abused.
Unless she wanted revenge. Her mother, Sally, the doc's first wife, supported him through med school. She was a nurse. The new wife, the one you've met, Ellen, she's the daughter of one of the area's most well-to-do graziers.
Daddy traded Mummy in for the new model.
And Bridget is devoted to Mummy. She could be manipulating all of us, even Thea Copeland.
All right, Mr. Henderson, just left to right, if you will.
You're allergic to water, mate. That was trendy 10 years ago. Nice hair. What are you growing in your... Who's that?
Sergeant Croydon, Mr. Henderson. Sorry to disturb you.
Carrying a bit of weight there, Sergeant.
I'll just get that down on the record for you there, boss.
Well, he's not out there. But you two blokes should know that.
Well, we didn't really get a very good look at him, Mr. Henderson.
You want me to do your job for you? Fine by me.
Is there anything else you want to add to your statement, Mr. Henderson?
The person you're after is a kid. Medium height, lean and fit. There were a couple of other things, actually. Got your pens ready? The smell. You're not writing. Not just the leather jacket. He wore a cheap aftershave. It was rank. And the voice. He made a grunting sound like a pig. Sorry.
What you do now is you go check the garages, the workshops, any backyard operators, anybody who deals in chunky parts. Check a lot of them. Where you going?
You talking to me?
Yep.
No, I've done what I came to do. I'm out of here.
What a drop kick.
No, that's you, Constable.
Picked it in one, Scobie. You picked it in one.
We'll take you home, Mr. Henderson. Hang on a sec.
I'm not going home. I'm going to the post office.
We'll take you to the post office then.
Dash, do you remember Dr. Matthews? Oh, yeah. He treated me a couple of times when I was a kid. I remember the first time I was up at casualty and I'd fallen out of this tree, and then the next time was
a regular patient of his at all?
No, Mum took us to Doc Shears, who I hated. I really liked Matthews, though, because he was so funny and gentle, and he actually took the time to explain things to me.
Dash, are you coming or what?
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
See ya. Bye-bye. It's Copeland.
Hi. Look, I've got something I want you to see. Bridget's given her permission.
It's winter. I'm not allowed to play outside because Mummy says it's too wet. So I'm playing with the balloons some of them burst.
What are the balloons for?
My birthday. I'm 8. It wasn't yesterday. It wasn't today. It was yesterday. My daddy couldn't come. He's too busy. He's always too busy. See, when people get sick, my daddy makes them all better. But when I get sick, Mummy looks after me.
So now it's the day after your 8th birthday. What's happening today, Bridget?
I don't want to go.
Go where?
To the lights. They're bright and I can't see. They're too bright. Please, can you turn them off? I can't see.
They're off, Bridget. You can look now. You can look now. It's all right. Now you just tell me what you can see.
The rainbow bird. It's humming. I hate the humming. And there's a whirlpool. A pool with water swirling all around. I can't breathe. I'm suffocating.
We won't let you suffocate.
He will. He will.
Who will?
Why doesn't my mummy come? I want my mummy. He's not gonna stop. Please make him stop.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, you mustn't tell. It's bad to tell. He said it's bad to tell.
I think you'll agree that that's no performance. Look, I hope by allowing you to see this that you can start to understand the anguish that she's feeling.
What happened after that?
She couldn't go any further. She was very distressed, so I brought her out of it.
Well, it certainly looks genuine. Though she actually didn't name her father.
No, but she's convinced he's guilty.
Why him? What is it about those recollections that makes her believe that he's the one?
The timing of familiar surroundings, the fact that her mother's nearby is...
Will she ever clearly see her face?
I can't say. Each case is different.
Oh, what about these images, hummingbirds, whirlpools, or what's that mean?
I thought with your cooperation that you could help her make some sense of it.
1979. Monday, June the 11th, I was in Hobart for a medical conference for the whole week. Bridget's birthday is on the 10th, Sunday. I missed it.
So that was the day you travelled?
Yes. Sally made me pay for it too. We had a blazing row. I tried to make it up to Bridget, but as usual, she sided with her mother.
What's this all about, Peter? Why are the police here again?
Bridget claims she has a recovered memory of being sexually abused by me when she was 8.
Oh, that's utterly ridiculous. She's lying.
No, I don't think she is.
Peter?
I think the idea could have been placed in her mind by Thea Copeland, or God forbid, she may have been the victim of abuse by someone and her memory is distorted.
There's no way in the world Peter would harm anyone. It's ludicrous, least of all his own daughter.
Mrs. Matthews, your husband's diary indicates that he was away at the time of the alleged abuse.
Well, I don't care if it doesn't, quite frankly. I can tell you right now who the innocent party is in all this.
Do you mind if we took the diary, Mr. Matthews?
Yeah. Take whatever you want. Do whatever you need to clear up this mess.
Do you realise how damaging this sort of allegation could be to my husband's practice? It has the potential to ruin us, to say nothing of what it could do to our children.
Well, we'll do our best to be discreet, Mrs. Matthews.
Well, I certainly hope so. Because you're dealing, obviously, with a very disturbed young woman. She's trying to discredit her father, it's obvious, and destroy my family.
Well, we found an abandoned car at the old tip which could be the vehicle used in the assault.
Well, where is it now?
Out the back, fingerprints are going over it.
They must have trashed it after the getaway because there's like the seats are slashed, there's graffiti all over it, it reeks of booze.
Sounds like a bomb, doesn't it?
You can hear it ticking.
Yeah.
The engine's been thrashed, the suspension's shot.
It's just like old Scobie Henderson described, isn't it?
And he's blind.
Yeah.
Well, keep plugging away at the records, see if you can trace an engine number.
No, you're wrong, PJ. Some people still believe that the acceptance of uncorroborated evidence in the case of repressed memory could lead to a miscarriage of justice. What?
Roman speak, yeah.
So how did you go with Matthews?
Oh, he says he was doing a course in Hobart.
Well, that should be easy enough to corroborate.
He also went through his archives and he produced his papers and notes from the course.
Well, the moral is, it may be old, but it still could be useful.
Boss, thanks so much for sharing that with us. It's very special. Roman feels that if a person can't recall the trauma and they only remember with psychotherapeutic intervention, then chances are it's too dangerous to be admitted to court.
Ah, right. And you, did a punch-up over this, did you?
We didn't agree, but I respect his right to an opinion. And, PJ, that is not a punch-up, that is a debate.
Right, like we debate things.
Except with him, it's on a much more intellectual level.
Yeah, well, hang on. Well, what's it with me? Who am I, Rocky?
With you, it's much more of a argument. See, PJ, you let your emotion get in the way. Can I give you a word of advice?
Please, I'd love that.
If you want to persuade people, you're going to have to be a little bit more assertive and less aggressive. You have to gently steer people towards your way of thinking.
Oh, right, and this is what Roman taught you, is it?
Why? Have you got a problem with it?
No, it just sounds like the workings of a devious mind, some wacko cracker. You know what, Mags? It actually sounds like the working of a criminologist.
And that is exactly what I expected you to say.
Yeah, come here.
What?
Will you come here, please? Look at this. Matthew's diary, Richard's birthday, leave for conference, Monday, blah, 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 nothing much, but look. Different entry at the bottom of the page.
Could have been a mother's.
B, 3:15 appointment.
Well, you think she might be wrong about the day?
She could be wrong about a lot of things.
Not the abuse.
No, maybe not about the abuse, but it happened 17 years ago.
It could have been for an appointment, maybe a ballet lesson or netball.
Let's have another look at the tape, eh?
Rainbow bird. It's humming. I hate the humming. And there's a whirlpool, a pool with water swirling all around. I can't breathe. I'm suffocating.
We won't be...
Bright lights, swirling water.
That's not a doctor's surgery.
No, sounds like a dentist surgery.
Yeah. But where does the rainbow bird fit in?
Well, when I was a little boy...
Well, you gave everybody a hard time just like you do now.
Shut up and listen. And when I was a little boy, my dentist had a drill with a toy train attached to the equipment overhead, right? So when the drill operated, the wheels used to go off, you know, choo-choo-choo-choo. So the idea was to keep the patient's mind off what was happening.
And did it work?
Nah, I'm scared witless. But it's possible there was a bird stuck up somewhere in the room, right? That's what Bridget remembers.
Okay, so firstly we'll check the university medical conference records.
It's probably too late for that now.
All right, well, how about we ask Matthews which dentist Bridget saw? Otherwise, we're just going to have to go back through the dentists practising in the area for the last 20 years.
Well, the boss might remember.
Yeah, all right, well, you can do that because I'm due at Ryman's.
What for?
You know, PJ, you were the one who suggested that I get extra help with my studies. Now, all of a sudden, you've gone off the idea. You are a very hard man to please,
I'm
detective.
just wondering how much work gets done over there with
He
Roman...
cooks me a meal, and we work, and we eat, and we eat and work. He enjoys the company, and I learn a lot. So, butt out.
There were 3 from memory. This is your Uncle PJ. He's an idiot, isn't he? At Parker, he's dead. All right. Neville Fielding, he was our dentist, and Morrison, who left town. Well, if you just go back through the records, you should be able to find out which one Bridget went
She
to.
saw Dr. Fielding too.
Really?
Yeah. Lasagna, beauty. What was he like?
Oh, I hated him. He really hurt me. His hands always used to shake when he was drilling. One time he slipped and the drill went right through my tongue.
That's not right.
Sure wasn't. There was blood everywhere.
It wasn't you. It was Susan, wasn't it?
Well, I don't know, I can't... I remember the fuss.
Oh, I could have sworn it was me.
No, it was Susan. I remember her showing me the scar.
Oh, well, whoever it was, Fielding was still a butcher.
Oh, is he still in town?
Yeah, retired a couple of years ago, I think.
Well, how old would he be now?
Oh, early 70s.
Yeah, about that.
All right, we'll have a chat with him tomorrow.
The abandoned car's unregistered. It was bought by Ludlow's for scrap metal and then pinched the night of the attack.
Well, that wouldn't be too hard. Ludlow's security consists of an old dog called Byron. You chuck him a bit of meat and he'd be doing handstands.
Yeah, what about Ludlow?
Well, he wouldn't be doing any handstands, and you couldn't accuse him of being a workaholic. He spends most of his time propping up the bar at the Commercial.
How'd they go with the prints?
None of them matched any known offenders.
Well, I reckon what you've got are two kids out for an easy mark and they bite off more than they can chew when they bump into Scobie Henderson.
Yeah, well, I feel sorry for them.
All right, get over to Ludlow's. Wake him gently. He's not too good in the mornings. Find out who he deals with. Towies, engineering workshops. And check out neighbouring properties as well. Could be somebody who's familiar with his routine.
My father's lying. He must have falsified his records.
Bridget, we've been in touch with the university. Your father definitely attended the medical conference.
Well, the professionals close rank in a crisis like this. You know, they're protecting him.
Not in this case, Bridget. They had no idea why we were looking into your father's whereabouts. There was no reason to protect him.
If my mum was still alive, she'd back me up.
Your father said they had an argument that weekend.
Yeah, so? They had lots of arguments, especially just before the breakup.
Yeah, but this one was important. This one was about your father missing your birthday party.
I don't remember it. You know, if they had it and I didn't hear it.
Bridget, if you believe that you're right about the time of the alleged abuse, then according to all the evidence we have in front of us, it couldn't have been your father.
That doesn't anything I have
Just
said to you...
a minute. Have you ever considered that it may have happened somewhere near that time? Another day in that same week, perhaps? Now, do you remember going anywhere with your mother or visiting anyone?
You don't think he's capable of it, do you? I'll tell you what I think. I think my mother discovered what he did to me, and then she ended the marriage to protect me from further abuse.
You think it, but you're not sure, are
Well,
you?
it's the only thing that makes any kind of sense.
Just belief in memory doesn't necessarily relate to accuracy.
My father's pulled a few strings and made himself an alibi, and you guys have fallen for it. And you expect me to just back off? Well, I won't, because he did it. Why the hell won't you believe me?
So that went well, did it?
What the hell did you say to her?
She didn't like the idea that it could be anyone other than her father.
I'll have a chat to Fielding.
Go easy.
I don't come in here much anymore these days. I'd hoped my son would take over the practice, but no, he wasn't interested, so I just locked it up and left it.
You retired long?
Oh, a few years now. Once the arthritis hit me, I had to give it all away.
It's hard to imagine how this would have been set up.
Oh, well, it was just the usual equipment, nothing special. You said this was about Peter?
Yes, he's a friend of yours?
Yeah. Although I haven't seen as much of him since he married Ellen. When he was still with Sally, we used to see them on a regular basis. He was a particular friend of my wife's.
Did you treat his daughter Bridget?
Young Bridget? Oh, yes, yes. Heard she brought Sally home.
Well, Bridget's still here.
Huh? Staying with her father, is she?
No, in fact, she's made certain allegations against him.
What sort of allegations?
She claims that she was sexually abused when she was 8.
Peter? Oh, impossible. No way in the world. Now, why on earth would she say such a thing?
We don't know, Doctor. We were hoping that you could tell us.
Well, the divorce was a nasty business. I mean, Sally virtually supported Peter all through the early years, and, well, I think she felt she'd been used, you know, that he no longer had any use for her or Bridget.
Do you think that was true?
No, they just grew apart. It happened.
Doctor, what was Bridget like as a child?
Very shy little girl. Petite. Quite pretty, really.
Well, we need to establish her movements for the week in question. Now, in Dr. Matthews' diary, sir, there was an appointment for Bridget. Was that appointment with you?
Well, all my appointment books were tossed out years ago.
Patient records?
Well, they're in storage. You'd have to give me a bit of time to dig them out. Not doubt they'd be much use to you. But of course, I'll do whatever I can to help.
Yeah, Ludlow kicked a couple of feral kids off his property. Found him smoking dope in one of the wrecks.
You recognise him?
That guy wouldn't recognise himself in a mirror.
Yeah, he was pretty rotten.
He couldn't even remember when he saw him. You know, one day kind of blurs into another.
Well, at least he's got an excuse. Well, you two can't even give an accurate description. You're supposed to be stone cold sober.
Yeah, all right, we'll be right over. Bye. PJ?
I've got every right to be here.
You've got this terribly wrong. You're not well.
Don't you touch me! We've asked you to leave. She's manipulating. It's not manipulation, lady. It's fact.
Matthews.
What are they doing here? You called them, didn't you?
Listen to reason.
I can't leave.
This is causing a disturbance. Let's go outside and we'll
Oh,
talk about
right.
how
Get
it
the
feels.
crazy out of here. I'm not going to go away that easily. They want me to shut up. They want me to pretend like nothing ever happened. That he didn't touch me, my father. Oh, God. No one believes me. You want proof? Look at me. Look at me. Don't let your kids hear him. Please. He's not safe. He's just not safe. Why? Why? Oh.
We're doing our very best to be discreet, Bridget. When you go barging in making unsubstantiated
Look, I had to do something you-
unsubstantiated disclosures of an indecent act in front of your father's patients. How do you think he feels about it?
Look, if people are made aware of the allegations, then someone might come forward to verify my story. Besides, other kids could be at risk.
Oh, okay. Oi, there's no evidence of that.
Well, none that you know of. Bridget, you're looking for a quick result. There may not be one. You've made up your minds that my father's been wrongfully accused. You've no intention of helping me. You know, you just whisper words of reassurance and hope I'll go away.
We're doing all we can, Bridget.
Yeah, like putting me, the victim, through the ringer. I'm not surprised people think twice about reporting sexual abuse.
Because we have to be sure, absolutely sure for everybody's sake.
Yeah, well, I am.
No, not entirely. Now, Bridget, you've remembered enough to acknowledge that it happened. But as far as I understand it, those recollections aren't exactly crystal clear, are they?
Even though I don't understand the images, I know enough to say that my parents were still together at the time of the abuse. It was close to my 8th birthday, and Mum and I left town soon after.
Okay, Bridget, close to your birthday, not the day after now.
Well, I could have been wrong. 1 or 2 days.
Not before?
No. No, it had to be after. I was wearing a gold bracelet my parents gave me as a present. It had my name on it.
You didn't tell us
Had
this.
my
You did
name
not
on
tell.
it.
Hey, you didn't tell us this the other day.
Yeah, well, I'm recalling new things all the
Okay,
time.
all right, Bridget. Now, let's try some of these other images. Now, the rainbow bird, for instance. Now, is it a picture, a drawing, a toy?
I don't know.
Okay, the swirling water and the bright lights. Where's the link between these things and your father?
He was wearing a white coat.
Bridget, your father's a GP. He doesn't wear a white coat.
Well, maybe it didn't happen at the surgery. You know, maybe it happened at the hospital. Maybe the lights are coming from the operating theatre. Maybe it's a prep room with sinks.
He wasn't even in town. Your father wasn't even in
Well,
town.
maybe he came back from the conference a day early. I don't know. I just don't know.
No, she's still asleep. We're fine, Dad.
Yeah, all right, well, she's not likely to give you any trouble. Try not to wake her up. Maggie and PJ are on their way over.
She's my friend, Dad. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah, look, they won't be long. Just go carefully anyway, will you?
We just spoke to the towie who delivered the getaway vehicles at Ludlow's scrapyard.
He's got like 5 ferals running wild on a swampy bit of land near the tip.
Okay, go out, round them up, bring them in for a line-up. Nick, you try and bring in Scobie. All right.
Well, she said she hasn't been getting much sleep lately. Her dreams have been keeping her awake. She's too frightened to be alone.
No!
It's okay.
It wasn't our house. It didn't happen in our house.
Do you recognise the place?
I've been there. Oh, sure, I've been there lots of times. Why are you here? Thea Copeland would like to see you, Bridget. She wants to help you through this.
I'm sure she does. But you're still looking for evidence to clear my father.
We're looking for answers, Bridget. Same as you.
So you're wearing the gold bracelet that your parents gave you for your 8th birthday. You're going out today with your mother. Do you know where you're going, Bridget?
Big house. Big house with a swing on the veranda.
Whose house is it? Do you know who lives there, Bridget?
Don't know.
Do you know why you're there?
Mummy's visiting a lady.
And where are you? Do you know where you are, Bridget?
In the room.
And what do you see?
He asked me if I like looking at the bird.
It's beautiful.
He said that I was more beautiful. He said it was our little secret. I couldn't tell anybody. Not anybody. If I told Mummy, she would be really angry.
Who is it, Bridget? Who's doing this to you?
Oh, it's Dr. Fielding. It's Dr. Fielding. Oh. Oh.
It's fine. Let it all out. It's safe. Come on, it's over now. It's all over now.
Bridget doesn't know the difference between fact and fantasy. Well, I mean, first of all, she accuses her father, now me. Could be you next. No, she's under the influence of that damn woman.
Miss Copeland's well qualified.
Oh, yes, she knows what she's about, all right. She's planted lies to serve her own purpose.
And what purpose would that be?
No, publicity. I mean, she's out to make a name for herself, that one.
Here in Mount Thomas, it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, well, if Copeland isn't manipulating her, then she's faking it.
We witnessed Bridget's session, Doctor. It was agony. It was psychologically and physically very painful for her.
Surely you're exaggerating, huh?
It's going to be very interesting when we talk to your former patients. The whole story's going to come out, isn't it?
Did your wife know?
Don't you dare bring my wife into this.
You know, it always makes me wonder how a woman can condone her partner abusing a child. How does she cope? Does she pretend it isn't happening, or does she just wait for the day when he finally decides to stop it?
You've gone too
far.
far.
No, you did that! You violated a little girl. You took away her childhood.
Well, even if you do prosecute, you'd have Buckley's convincing a jury I was guilty. Besides, I'm an old man with arthritis. It wouldn't be worth putting me away.
Oh, yes, it would. You're going to die in prison, Mr. Fielding. It's a promise.
It's so small. You know, I remembered it being bigger. Mum had left me here with Dr. Fielding while she went off and had a cup of tea with his wife in the kitchen. It's on the other side of the house. Doubt whether she would have heard me, even if I had screamed.
He betrayed your trust, Bridget. You're not to blame.
I know. So, where do we go to from here?
Well, we can work through it together until you come to terms with it, and then move on.
Before this thing goes to court, I need to confront him. I need him to know how I feel and to acknowledge exactly what he's done.
No, he may not do that.
Well, I'll say what I have to say and just be satisfied with that.
You shouldn't be alone right now. You're more than welcome to come and stay with me.
Thanks. But when I'm ready, I'm going to go back to the city. I don't belong here.
And Bridget, if there's anything that we can do...
Yeah, you can take me to see my father.
terribly hurt by all this. Being wrongly accused of such a hideous crime against someone you love, it's utterly devastating. Not to mention all the people in the community who are never going to feel comfortable with him again.
Well, it can't have been easy for Bridget either.
No. No, I suppose not. Bridget's always been difficult. I thought it was jealousy at first, you know, new wife, new family, all that. But I can't even begin to imagine what it must be like to be her.
No, I can't either. I guess we're the lucky ones.
Maybe this will give us a chance, all of us, to start again.
Oh, you're having me on, right? You're expecting this bloke to ID one of me kids.
We won't be relying on this gentleman's observations alone. We'll be taking fingerprints as well. Oh, you leave that alone. OK, Mr Henderson, on the 6th of July you were assaulted in High Street, Mount Thomas. I'd like you to walk along this line, identify the person who assaulted you.
The guy on the left.
Second from the right.
This is the one.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, Dad.
I'm positive. Same voice, same sickly sweet aftershave.
Thank you, Mr Henderson. Constable Cooper will take your statement.
I warned you about pinching me aftershave, Bernice.
Bernice?
It's Bernie.
Oh, that's what it says here.
I hate Bernice. I know I hate Bernice, Dad.
You're a girl, are you?
Of course she's a girl.
All right, Bernice, we're going to need to ask you a few questions.
Hey, look, I didn't do it on my own. My brother was with me. He was driving.
I was not. She's lying.
Are you what, too?
Oh, shut up, up there he is. You're in enough strife as it is. Right, Sarge?
Yes, right. Come on, my office, thank you. You too, Sport. You driving a car. He's a clever boy, eh? Oh, yeah, big kicks, hey. Want to play footy? Oh, I don't know. When you were kids, I always seemed to be out on some job when there was a crisis here at home.
We coped.
1 minute you are kids, and the next. Only little for such a short time, aren't you? Eh? We've got to make the most of it, don't we? With this. You're very strong, yes.